We're here with Tim Westergren, founder of Pandora, music service that we all know and love. You have clutched in your little paws there an iPad.
Fresh out of the oven.
Right now, I can get Pandora certainly on a computer, on a notebook, on a desktop. I can get it on my phone. I can get it on, I have a Chumby, I can get it on that.
Right.
So it populates in all sorts of different places. This has more screen real estate, so maybe you can give us a test drive and show us what we can do and how it's somewhat different than those other experiences.
Sure. And so you're right. I think the interesting sort of characteristic of this device is that it's a truly portable large screen.
Right.
So there are mobile phones that are, of course, super portable but small screens, and then you've got laptops that are bigger screens than this, but they're not that portable. You don't literally walk around the house with your laptop. Mm-hmm. Whereas this guy, you can put it in your bag or hold it in your hand and walk around with it. So our goal when we did Pandora on the iPad was to try and reimagine it for a screen. Mm-hmm. So not to say, okay, this is a larger version of what's on the iPhone.
Right.
We decided we'd really try to sort of reimagine, think how is the experience different, and therefore how should we design it with this device? So it has really the same basic components as the other apps on the web, even on the iPhone, but the extra real estate gives us plenty of room to kind of surface things more. While you're listening now, much the same way you could read the back of an album, you could do the same thing for the bios and reviews on this part of the page. So we surfaced more of that information.
So, there was hundreds of people at the Apple store here in San Francisco when you walked in, and maybe you didn't look at them because you were so focused on getting your iPad. But who's buying these? And then kind of at another level, who do you think is going to use Pandora on an iPad? And is it a different, listener or user than on the iPhone or some other device? Well,
I think in the early going, it will be largely existing Pandora listeners, because this is the early adopter crowd that's in right now buying these things. But I think as word of mouth spreads about it, and if it's positive and people are really finding a happy home for the device, then it will spread more to mass consumer. And the interesting thing for Pandora is that in our own history with the iPhone, for example, between 60 and 70% of the people who register for Pandora on an iPhone are new to Pandora.
Oh.
So we have a large base of existing listeners on the web, but it turns out that a lot of people now find things first through mobile devices. Mm-hmm. And for us, one of the cornerstones of our future is about anytime, anywhere.
Right.
And maybe someday there will be people for whom this is their starter device, and they come to apps through this.
Right.
And we obviously want to be there, so that's kind of a core part of our strategy.
So, that's another really big reason as to why you would develop for this new computing device.
We're trying to make Pandora as ubiquitous as radio.
Right.
So that was radio's genius. They got into cars. They got into every alarm clock. They got into all sorts of devices so that it would just push a button and play. That's what we want to do with this.